with the help of Sergeant Evans and his facility, they helped me with most of the things that I actually need, and they put me back on track in a matter that I can, actually go on with my life.
Wonderful, man. That's good stuff. That's some good stuff. What time did you serve in the military? When?
I was a Vietnam veteran.
Vietnam vet.
Yes.
We thank you for your service to our country.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Williams.
All right.
All right. Mr. Green, pleasure seeing you again.
Thank you.
You invited Royal Union Films to sit with you.
Yes.
We studied the documents in regards to your son and the mysterious death of Sergeant Lashawn Evans.
Yes.
I understand that you composed a letter for the President of the United States.
Yes, I did.
Before we get to some of the questions that you have, please read your letter to our Commander-in-Chief.
Dear Mr. President, please pardon my imposition. I'm writing out of a sense of extreme desperation. My name is Kevin Green. I'm a patriotic American. My son was Sergeant Lashawn Evans of the US Army. I wholeheartedly support our men and women in the armed forces. Mr. President, my life has not been pristine. However, by God's grace, my life has been turned around. You can see through my work in housing homeless men and women that I've been trying to give back to society in which we live. In a way, I was praying that I would be further redeemed through my son's service to our country in Iraq. Unfortunately, my son lost his life in that country, not at the hands of the enemies of America, but under circumstances that are frustratingly unclear. All of my efforts to get clear answers regarding his death only resulted in further frustration. These efforts was exhausted at the office of Colonel Joe Eldridge of the US Army Criminal Investigation Command. Mr. President, you will see in the accompanying DVD the unanswered questions that are the source of my continued frustration with the death of my son. You are a family man, so I trust you understand my need for clear answers. I find myself in a position of no recourse, thus is the reason for my letter to you. It is written in hope that you will request the appropriate personnel to forward me clear answers to all the outlined questions in the accompanying DVD. Surely they will honor the request of the Commander-in-Chief. I thank you for your attention in this matter.
Wow. Very heartfelt letter, and it's clear to the point. So I guess we should just get down to business, Mr. Green.
Yes.
There's some things that's been troubling you. So let's get down to it. I want you to express to the viewers and of course to our Commander-in-Chief, the President of the United States, what these questions are that are on your mind.
The first question, is there a protocol regarding the matter in which of the next of kin of military men and women are notified of their death?
You asked that question. That means you had to be notified in a way.
I was notified in a humiliating and degrading way.
Okay, tell us about that.
The first matter in which we was notified on 2/15/11, the first phone call came from a Miss Vivian Perry, stating that my son Sergeant Evans was dead. The second phone call also came from Miss Perry, stating that my son, Sergeant Evans, was in a pool of blood. The third phone call came from Mr. Perry, all within 90 minutes, stating that my son killed himself.
Wow. So after receiving these phone calls, I'm sure your mind was an array, but as you began to get some clarity, what was the questions that entered your mind?
What was the proximity in the time between the phone calls and the actual demise and the official reporting of his death?
When you say, you mean what was the proximity?
Proximity,
Okay,
right,
got you.
of the between the phone calls and the demise and the official reporting of his death?
That's a very important question.
Yes.
So when they called you, you really wasn't clear exactly when this happened to your son, or you were at the hand. Is your son's widow's family, are they military personnel?
No, the father was.
No, but are they like appointed personnel that should be notifying you of his death?
No.
No. Interesting.
My next question.
But wait, before you go on,
Right.
In our studies, it appeared that foul play was insinuated with your daughter-in-law, your son's wife, being the focus.
My question is, was his wife in the room at the time of his death? Is it a common practice for a soldier to have a flash suppressor attached to his weapon?
Wait, a flash suppressor?
Yes.
What is a flash suppressor?
Well, we have different definitions, but to me, it's a silencer. There was no bullet found.
No bullet found?
No bullet found. My next question would be, how exhaustive was the search for the bullet?
I mean, we watch TV, we watch FBI files
Right.
and cold case files.
Yes.
We know that if a bullet is involved in the demise of a person, that they leave no stone unturned in search for that bullet.
Right.
Oh, okay.
But there was no bullet recovered. Also, a high-ranking official from the U.S. Department of Defense stated there was no gunpowder found on my son's hands. So what substantiates that it was his weapon that terminated his life? No answers to the question. What is the exact evidence of his mortal injury being self-inflicted?
You asked it. Let's go back. You said, what is the exact evidence of his mortal injuries being self-inflicted?
Yes.
Is somebody insinuated he committed suicide? Okay.
They won't give us clear answers.
Okay.
They keep dancing us around for the last 11 months.
Okay. So you had another question. What was that question?
Are there any official reports of infidelity in the marriage while on active duty? If so, what counseling was offered?
So, I mean, I'm certain that you asking these questions because they must have presented themselves in some place, but we don't want to delve into that. We need to hear answers from them.
From them.
Let's go on. What else?
Is it a common practice for military personnel to visit the deceased spouse, parents armed?
Wow. Okay. I'm certain that there's a reason that you asked that too.
Yes.
That we won't even look into. What else is going on?
Why would my son's widow state to his mother and I on February 24th that Sergeant Williams was a suspect in my son, Sergeant Evans' death? Did my son's widow have an inappropriate relationship with Sergeant Williams?
I understand that these questions cannot just be random questions. You're asking them for a reason.
Yes.
Okay, let's keep moving.
My next question, received a phone call on March 12th, 2011, less than 30 days of my son's death, that they cleared her of all investigation.
So what's your question about that?
How can that be done with all these unanswered questions? In August of 2011, I received a phone call from a high-ranking official in the U.S. Department of Defense. Quote, your son's case will never be ruled a suicide due to too many inconsistencies on the behalf of CID. Again, Mr. President, I humbly ask you to please appoint the appropriate officials to forward me the answer to the questions in the matter of my child, Sergeant Lashawn Evans.
Mr. Green, we want to thank you. We at Royal Union Films, we support you.
Thank
We
you.
noticed that you use notes
Yes.
to ask your questions.
Yes.
And we understand that you use the notes to void all emotions.
Yes.
And stick to your pursuit of the facts.
Yes.
And we believe you've done that in a dignified manner. And we here at Royal Union hope that you receive the clear answers, and we hope that we're helpful in helping you in your pursuit for justice and clear answers in the case of your son, Sergeant Lashawn Evans.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, pal. Thank you.
Everybody salutes, sir. Everybody, out of respects of your son. And I just want you to know that, and I will keep that going.
I thank you for
Yes, sir.
Good money.
So how you feel? How you feel right now?
emotional.
Good.
I tried to hold the tears.
They would not sleep in this facility.
When someone so close to you, someone that loved life so much, it just hurts. And all I want is the truth. That's it.